Hey folks, welcome back to Military Forces Unleashed. Today, we're diving into one of the most controversial chapters in modern naval history, the Littoral Combat Ship, the LCS. In this episode, we'll explore how the U.S. Navy bet big on speed, modularity, and futuristic warfare, and ended up with a fleet that's fast, fragile, and fighting for relevance. It was supposed to be the future of naval dominance, stealthy, agile, and packed with tech. Instead, it became a punchline in Pentagon hallways and a $700 million headache per hull. To understand the LCS, we must rewind to the early 2000s, after the Cold War, when the Navy thought big guns were obsolete and asymmetric threats ruled the shallows. Back then, the idea was simple. Replace slow, heavy minesweepers and patrol boats with something fast, flexible, and cheap. It wasn't until 2005 that this vision took shape, but engineers were already wrestling with nightmare-level issues: aluminum hulls cracking in rough seas, mission modules that didn't work, and a design philosophy that prioritized cool over combat readiness. The LCS emerged from post-9/11 optimism, a world where the U.S. wouldn't fight peer navies, but pirates, terrorists, and rogue states in shallow waters. The plan? A ship that could do everything. Hunt subs, clear mines, chase speedboats, all with a third of the crew of a frigate. Sounds brilliant on paper. In reality, it was like building a sports car and calling it an armored personnel carrier. Packed with 4,200 nautical miles of range, speeds over 40 knots, and modular mission bays, the LCS was built for one thing: dominating coastal zones. But not with brute force, with swappable tech. Think of it like a USB drive for warfare. Plug in an anti-sub module, swap to mine hunting, or load up on drones. Think of it like this. It's the smartphone of warships, sleek, app-based, and constantly glitching. Its radar could spot a drone at 20 miles, and its 57mm Bofors gun could shred small boats. But its armor? So thin you could cut it with a steak knife. The two variants, Freedom-class and Independence-class, were supposed to compete and innovate. Instead, they just doubled the problems. The trimaran design, built by Austal, looked like a sci-fi yacht, but its wide deck made it a target, and its aluminum superstructure warped in the sun. Freedom-class had propulsion issues. Remember the 2016 incident when USS Milwaukee broke down chasing a drug sub? Yeah, that wasn't an outlier. The Rolls-Royce engines and water jets were temperamental, and breakdowns in the Pacific became routine. And don't get me started on weapons. Originally, it had no missiles. Then they added the RIM 116 rolling airframe missile for self-defense. Later, some got the Naval Strike Missile. A decent punch, but too little, too late. Meanwhile, peer navies were arming corvettes with anti-ship cruise missiles and CIWS. The LCS? Still relying on speed as armor. Sure, it's a marvel of engineering if your definition of marvel includes a ship that costs more than a frigate, but fights like a glorified speedboat. Fuel consumption? Astronomical. Crew training? A mess. And those mission modules? Most were canceled or delayed. The modular dream died in testing. Critics at USNI and the Drive have called it over-engineered and underarmed. Some admirals wanted them scrapped early. Others say they bought time for future drones and unmanned fleets. The truth is, the LCS isn't a failure. It's a lesson. A $20+ billion lesson in what happens when you design a warship like a startup pitch. The Navy planned 55 LCSs, then 32, then 35, then they started retiring them early. USS Freedom and USS Fort Worth are already gone after less than 15 years. For context, destroyers serve 30 to 40 years. These ships burned out fast, both mechanically and strategically. Even the crewing model was a disaster. Rotational crews were supposed to keep ships deployed longer, but coordination broke down, maintenance suffered, and morale tanked. Sailors called it the high-speed headache. The LCS is both a symbol of innovation and a cautionary tale of overambition. It's a reminder that naval power isn't just about speed. It's about survivability, strategy, and knowing when to admit the prototype didn't work. It pushed boundaries in automation, unmanned systems, and rapid deployment, but at the cost of reliability, resilience, and credibility in combat. If you enjoyed this dive into naval chaos, smash that like button, subscribe, and tell me in the comments, would you send the LCS into a real war zone or relegate it to drug busts and PR tours? Bonus points if you think the Navy should just paint one gold and turn it into a floating casino. And hey, if you've got a hot take on the Constellation-class frigates replacing them, drop it below. Are we finally learning, or just repeating the cycle with better PowerPoint slides? Thanks for watching and supporting Military Forces Unleashed. Your likes, shares, and salty naval rants keep this channel afloat. Literally, we're not funded by defense contractors, only by you. So, every subscription, comment, and angry LCS should be scrapped rant fuels the next video. No flashy teaser here, just real talk. If you value deep dives that don't glorify hardware or worship generals, if you want analysis that questions the narrative instead of repeating it, hit that bell and stay with us. This channel is built on skepticism, facts, and a healthy distrust of PowerPoint warfare. Until next time, keep asking the hard questions, because someone has to.